Sorry, Master, if you just told me you couldn't hear me. So hopefully that was rectified. Um, so we're gonna start over here then again. So what I want to do is talk Halloween. We are gonna talk about my favorite kills in the franchise. So I got a little bit of a twist to that though. We're gonna talk about the favorite kills with including all the movies in the franchise, except for Rob Zombie's movies, because quite frankly, I'm just not a fan of those movies. I know it has its fans, so I'm not taking anything away from you if you like those movies. They're just really not for me. So let's get into it. Favorite kills from the Halloween franchise, but I got a little bit of a twist for you. I'm going to include at least 2 kills from each movie, except for Zombie, like I said. So we have, 9 movies, including Halloween 2018 and Halloween 3. So that's 18 kills right there. And then I included 2 more kills from a couple other movies. So top 20. So let's get into it. At number 20, I have everyone's favorite Halloween movie, Halloween Resurrection. I have Jen. She is the blonde chick at the top of the stairs that Michael, takes the knife, and she doesn't know that it's Michael. And, he takes the butcher knife and just slices her head off. Cool kill, in my opinion. But it just isn't realistic. You have a butcher knife being able to take her head off in one swipe. It's not realistic, but it is pretty cool visually. So I had to include it in there just because I needed 2 kills from Resurrection. But it falls in at number 20 for me. Coming in at number 19 is going to be from Halloween 5, which I hate this movie, sorry to say. But it's going to be the cop that was protecting Jamie in the Myers house at the end. So the reason I have this kill on there is just because it's a cool visual as well. Michael and Loomis are kind of facing off in the Myers house, and Michael Myers, throws Loomis through the stairs or whatever, goes upstairs, and then the cop is protecting Jamie. He shoots Michael through the door, but Michael comes and actually hangs him from the ladder outside of the Myers house. So it's kind of a cool visual that he's hanging outside of that gothic mansion. So that's at number 19 for me. Coming in at number 18 is going to be Marion Chambers from Halloween H2O. Remember, she's going to be in Halloween Kills, but this kill actually happened in H2O, which Halloween Kills does not include. And the reason for this kill is the reason I included this on the list. Number one, there's not too many kills in Halloween H2O, but I really like this kill at the beginning of the movie, just because the cops are coming next door. She's yelling in here, and she breaks the glass right as they enter the other home, and they can't hear her. And then Michael slices her neck. Interesting fact, he's actually wearing the mask from Halloween 6 in that. So that's one of my top kills from H2O, and it's number 18 on my list. Coming in at number 17 is actually going to be from Halloween 3. Yes, the one without Michael Myers. It's going to be the little boy in the testing room. So if you remember that, he puts on the Silver Shamrock mask, commercial plays, Dr. Chalice is watching on TV, and, he falls to the ground, and you got snakes and all kinds of different bugs and horrible shit coming out of his mouth, and his family's in there. And his head kind of collapses, and, the snake bites the mom. Really, really cool scene. It kind of showed you, which you could already kind of feel. It kind of showed you how evil Colonel Cochran was. So that's at number 17 for me. Coming in at number 16 is going to be from Halloween 2018, and that is going to be a kill that we didn't actually see, but the aftermath was so cool that I had to include it on this list, and that's going to be the jack-o'-lantern cop, as I call him. So if you remember, right when Michael gets over to Laurie's house, the cop car is there, and what's his name? Peanut Butter on the Penis guy comes out to see why the cop car's there, and he finds the jack-o'-lantern sitting there, or the cop's head, and it's Michael basically turned it into a living jack-o'-lantern, which is pretty sweet. So it's one of those things where we don't see the kill, but after that you're like, holy shit, what the hell happened here? So that's pretty cool. So that's going to be at number 16 on my list. Coming in at number 15, we're going to go back to Halloween Resurrection. and it's going to be, I can't even remember the character's name, but he's Thomas Ian Nicholas from American Pie movies and Rookie of the Year. But it's when he's killed in Halloween Resurrection. This was actually my favorite kill in Resurrection, which isn't saying much. But I think he's kind of looking in the mirror or something, and Michael just comes through the glass and kills him. So I thought that was really cool, or at least cool for Resurrection. So it's at number 15 on my list. Number 14, we are moving back to Halloween H2O, and that's going to be Will, Laurie's boyfriend. So Will actually shoots LL Cool J. He kind of grazes his head. And then he's kind of down there checking the blood. And all of a sudden you see Michael come from behind, take a knife to him and lift him up. So it's pretty cool. He's got blood squirting out of there. It was actually one of my favorite scenes in H2O because I'm not a fan of H2O. But yeah, so that is number, what am I at? 14 there. Coming in at number 13 is going to be back to Halloween 5, and it's going to be Mikey from H5. The reason I like this kill is Mikey gets in his car after getting the beer from Spitz, and what he does is you can kind of see Michael start walking in the back, and it's daytime, and you see Michael kind of walking, and Michael kind of fucks with him. He's kind of observed that Mikey is very, we'll say, crazy and protective of his car. So Michael takes, I guess you'd call it, a garden rake, and just slams it on the car, and Mikey sees it in his rear view mirror and scratches it, and goes and threatens Michael. And, he's like, trick or treat. And Michael grabs him by the neck and takes it. And you get the cool point of view shot where that rake just goes right into his forehead. And Michael kind of drags his body away. So as much as I hate Halloween 5, I actually do like that scene. So that is number 13. Coming in at number 12 is going to be Oscar from Halloween 2018. This is actually my favorite scene from Halloween 2018. I got a lot of issues with this movie, but the Oscar scene is awesome. And for a couple of reasons. One, you get the callback to Mr. Riddle when he's in Mr. Riddle's yard and he thinks it's Mr. Riddle. And the second part is just, the motion lights or floodlights or whatever you want to call them. It's just really creepy. You see Michael standing in the background, and then all of a sudden the lights go out because nobody's moving, and Oscar's sitting there, and all of a sudden the lights go on. So that means that Michael has started moving because Oscar hasn't moved. And then they go off again and on. And, all of a sudden, before you know it, Michael's right in front of Oscar's face, swiping at him. So it's a really cool scene. And then the aftermath of that kill, too, is pretty awesome, where he's impaled on that fence. And then, Allison finds his body. So it's a pretty cool scene. So that's going to be at number 12 for me. Coming in at number 11, my 11th favorite kill from the franchise is going to be Earl from Halloween 4. Awesome kill. Awesome gore in this. Earl's driving Rachel and Jamie to safety. He doesn't know it, but Michael has hatched onto the bottom of the truck somehow. He somehow climbs up and gets rid of all the dudes in the back. And then all of a sudden Earl kind of looks back and sees it cloudy, and he's got this look on it. He's got this look on his face, kind of like oh shit. And right there, Michael slams through the glass, grabs him by the neck, and just kind of rips his neck out. And then, Rachel has to kind of push him out of the car, and you get the theme playing. Very, very cool scene. So that's at number 11 for me. Coming in at number 10 is going to be, I don't even know her name, but it's going back to Halloween 3. It's the lady in the hotel room. She's playing with the silver shamrock mask, and she starts fiddling around with it, and boom, like a laser beam comes and just takes her face off. So that's pretty cool. Just you get the gross out factor of the face and all kinds of shit. So that's at number 10 for me. Coming in at number 9, we're finally going to get to some of the older ones. Number 9 is going to be Nurse Jill from Halloween 2. This is the one, remember, where she's kind of the last of the staff left at the hospital. Laurie's walking through the hallway. She says, Laurie. And all of a sudden Laurie looks, and Michael's standing behind her, and he takes the scalpel, lifts her up in the air, and her shoes fall off. It just an awesome scene. And then, you get the awesome final chase between Laurie and Michael. So that is at number 9 for me. Coming in at number 8 is gonna be, let's see here, Linda from Halloween 1, the OG. Obviously, this is a classic scene. Any scene from the Halloween 1978 is going to be classic. But you get you get Michael kind of toying with her, pretending to be Bob's ghost, or, she wants to get Bob's ghost, I guess, see anything you like. And then, she picks up the phone to call Laurie, and you see Michael slowly walking towards her and then strangles her with the phone cord. So awesome scene, just like everything from the OG. So that's at number 8 for me. Coming in at number 7 is going to be from Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. Next, it's going to be Beth. So if you remember Beth, she was dating, God, I can't remember half these characters from Halloween 6's name, but she was dating one of the dudes living in the Myers house. Tim, I want to say his name is. Might be wrong on that. But she was dating him. And you have Kara over at Tommy's house, and she sees Beth from across the street, and she's like, Kara's like, someone's in the room, and you see Michael in the room, and she's accidentally taking pictures, and Michael kind of gets her from behind. But just the whole visual of Kara seeing this through a camera across the street, and being on the phone with Beth, and seeing Michael come in the room, just an awesome scene. So many issues right now, or so many issues that I had with Halloween 6, but the kills were definitely not one of them. You get a badass Michael Myers in this movie. So Beth's death is number 6 for me. Or sorry, number 7 for me. Coming in at number 6 is going to be Brady from Halloween 4. So Brady obviously kind of gets a little bit of redemption for, I don't know if you can call it cheating, but, playing with Rachel's heart, we'll say. Hey, Master of Fear, how you doing? Ethan, how are you? Thanks for stopping by. So Brady gets a little bit of a redemption arc there. And he basically saves Rachel and Jamie. He's trying to take out Michael on the stairs. He doesn't have bullets in his gun because he just shot the door. By the time he loads them in there, Michael's there. He gets some good punches on Michael, but Michael kind of picks him up by the neck, and you hear his neck snap. So just a great death. Brady, as much as, he kind of seemed like a douchebag, he kind of gets a little redemption. So, all right, top 5, people. My 5th favorite kill in the Halloween franchise. Might surprise you because I know it's going to be a lot of people's first or second. But it's still awesome for me. And it's going to be Karen from Halloween 2. And that's the hot tub death from Halloween 2. Doesn't really need explanation for why this is. Number 1, it isn't just the TNA, we get, but the whole scene, Michael slowly walking up silently from behind her. She's kissing his hand, thinking it's good old Bud. And then, she sees it's him, looks up, and he starts dunking her head underwater. And the temperature's going up past 120, 160 degrees, whatever the hell it is. And, her face is melting off as he's dunking her in there. And then she kind of is dead all of a sudden. But just a fucking awesome scene. And that's kind of one of the scenes where it's like, holy shit, this movie ain't fucking around anymore. And Michael is just going to be brutal as hell. This isn't Halloween 1978 anymore. It's not a ghost story. This is a full-on slasher movie. For better or worse. I love H2. It's not even as close to Halloween 1978 for me. But that death kind of solidified that this is not Halloween 1978 as far as kills go. Speaking of Halloween 1978, number 4 on the list is going to be Annie. And of course, this is the kill in the car. And there's so much build up to this death. We're basically like 55 minutes into the movie at this point. The last 15 minutes, he's been, he's been stalking Annie. He's been there and not there, gone, or in the background and then gone. And, and you let your guard down a little bit because she goes and gets her keys, comes back, and the door is open. And by the time she realizes that the door is open and she got in there without using the keys, that's kind of when you realize it too. And you kind of see it feel at the same time, like, that's weird. And then boom, you get the music cue. Michael comes up from behind, and starts and just basically chokes her out. He just starts fucking choking her, and it's just brutal death. He ends up just slitting her throat, in the car, and then she hits the horn. And then you kind of just see her face fade out, and it's just an awesome death. So Annie is my fourth favorite death in the Halloween franchise. Hey, we got Jason here. We got John Bruce here. How's it going, guys? So we are doing my top 20 favorite kills in the Halloween franchise. We are at number 3 now. So before I continue, let me know what some of your favorite kills are. We'll kind of go over them when I'm done here. Any questions you got on the Halloween franchise that you want to discuss, Halloween kills coming up, any of the kills in the franchise. We're just going to kind of discuss that tonight and go from there. We're at number 3 now for my favorite Halloween kills in the franchise. Number 3 is actually going to be from Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, and it's the first kill of the movie. It's the nurse with the spike on the wall. I love this for a couple of reasons. Number 1, it's a cool death scene. I just love it. How coincidental that there happens to be a spike on the wall is debatable, but whatever, it was cool. And I love that she's just kind of standing there after letting Jamie go, and Michael emerges out of the darkness. You see him walking out of the darkness. You don't just see the mask appear like in Halloween 1 and do another death, that we're going to get to. But you see him walking, and all of a sudden you kind of see the mask in the background and you see him walking. So just an awesome scene. A very good homage to the earlier Halloween movies. So it's at number 3 on my list. Top 2, baby. All right. So my second favorite kill in the Halloween franchise is actually from Halloween 2, and that is Nurse Janet. And that's because of just kind of what I was talking about. If you remember Janet, she goes into Dr. Mixter's office to tell her that Laurie's had a reaction to the medication, I believe. And, she spins Dr. Mixter's chair around, and he's got a needle in the eye. And she's kind of like, holy shit. And she backs up, and as she starts backing up, you see Michael's mask, just like it emerged in the darkness in Halloween 1978 with Laurie. You see the mask emerge with kind of like a evil, I know it's not supposed to be evil, but like a red tint in the room to it, which is really cool. I've heard someone say before it's the most Halloween 1978 moment in any of the sequels, and I would agree with that, just because the mask just emerges. And then, Michael grabs her and, sticks the needle right through her damn temple. So just brutal, as far as I'm concerned. Which brings me to my favorite kill in the whole franchise. A couple of things here. This kill is not the most gory kill in the franchise. It's not John Strode's head exploding, in the basement from Halloween 6. But it's my favorite for a few reasons. And that is Bob from the original Halloween 1978. The reasons for this are a couple of them, as I'm sure you can probably guess. The reasons are, it's kind of a cat and mouse game still going on. Him and Linda just got done having sex. He went to get her a beer. He thinks Annie's fucking with him, opening a couple doors, and he's like, I can't remember what he says. God damn it, Annie, or something like that. And anyway, boom, Michael comes out of the pantry, I think it is, pins him against the wall. You get the great, not score, but kind of the great, like, boom. And then Michael lifts him up, stabs him in the chest. We won't get into the physics of how his body stood pinned to the door. But then, of course, as I'm sure you guys can guess, the famous head tilt. And it's just kind of a little head tilt there and then there. And it's Michael kind of admiring his work. I've always thought that's Michael kind of just saying, wow, look what I just did. So that is my favorite kill in the entire franchise. So let me know what some of your guys' favorite kills are. We'll get into some of that. And then any questions you guys want to discuss for the upcoming sequel. Let's see who we got here. Ethan's here. Hey, the Master of Fear. How's it going? Jason Richardson says face scalding nurse is top 3 for me. Yep. It actually surprised it didn't land in my top 3. It was number 5 for me. Easily probably the most brutal kill in the franchise. Especially just because she's both drowning and burning at the same time, and you see, the great makeup effects. Can't go wrong with that kill. I wouldn't even argue if it was someone's number 1. John Bruce, my favorite might be his first, stalking around the house, going to the back door and going through the house, up the stairs. Yeah, I know. I hated not having Judith on my list. It was. It's a great, just a great way to open a movie, especially from his point of view. And then, obviously the shock of it being a 6-year-old boy And then kind of you don't really know what you're in for there. It just kind of had a great feel for it. Halloween, what do you guys think of Halloween 2018's kills? A lot of them were off screen, which I actually enjoyed because it kind of when you see the aftermath like that, you're kind of wondering, oh man, what happened here? You have the jack-o'-lantern cop, like I was talking about earlier. You have at the gas station, the gas station attendant or whatever. His face is just mauled on the desk or whatever. So I always thought that was a great kill. He actually takes the teeth from there and puts it over the stall to kind of mess with the podcasters before he kills them because who knows if people have a theory that Aaron is still alive in Halloween Kills. We'll see. But yeah, Halloween 2018, it had some great kills, but all the off-screen stuff are some of the things that really that I actually really enjoyed, and I didn't think I would enjoy that much of them, but I did because I would have rather seen stuff like that than the head stomp. The head stomp is just so unrealistic in Halloween 2018 that it just kind of took me out of the moment. So here we go. Ethan says, let's pull that up. My favorite kill in Halloween 2018, even though it did not show the death, but still my favorite is when Ray Nelson finds the two cops and him seeing the cop with the head carved like a jack-o'-lantern. Yeah, awesome kill. I had to have that on my list too. Like I said, just the aftermath of that is awesome. What the fuck? How did Michael do this? He's basically, I know the guy's not living, but it's like a living jack-o'-lantern, with is it a candle in there? I think it's a flare, right? It's a flare that's in there. But yeah, I agree, Ethan. Awesome kill. Darth Vader, the head stomp was nasty as hell from Halloween 2018. Yeah, I agree. It was very nasty. A little too Jason Voorhees-ish for me, or Rob Zombie, Michael Myers for me. But definitely, I agree that it was nasty. Let's see. Jason Richardson says, call me a psycho, but I hope the newest one, Michael kills a kid to show that he isn't playing. I agree with you, Jason. I actually think that it would raise the stakes. I think I've said this in one of my past videos, but I actually think it would raise the stakes a little bit if he killed Julian, the little boy from the babysitting scene earlier in the movie. Maybe I'm just saying that because I did not like the comedy. I did not like his reaction and the way he kind of came down the stairs with a quip, because I didn't think that was realistic. But yeah, I agree with you there that it would be cool to see him kill a kid. I think the kid that he ended up killing in Halloween 2018, after the bus crash, when he kind of popped up from behind, I don't know if that was actually it was a kid, but I think he was more kind of like a teenager, like a young teenager. But killing a younger kid like Julian would definitely be cool. Let's see what we got here. Ryan Bentley, the operating room massacre from H6, best for me. Ryan, I love that scene as well, for a few reasons. Number one, it's actually why that scene alone, is one of the many reasons why I actually prefer the theatrical version of Halloween 6 over the producer's cut. Now, they both have issues, don't get me wrong, but that scene is just so brutal and badass that I just need it in that movie. I love the way, first of all, I love the way, Michael walks by the operating room, sees on a table like all these different weapons, we'll say, and he kind of moves his hand to one, and then you see him grab the big one. It's like a machete. It's like a Jason weapon. But then you go in there, and all of a sudden, Tommy and Kara, I think that's her. Yeah, it's Kara. I don't know why I was second guessing that. But Tommy and Kara look, and it's just cloudy in the room, and all of a sudden, boom! You see a doctor hit the wall, blood all over him, boom, and then you hear that, however the hell that noise was in the movie, and Michael starts speed walking out of the room, chasing after the doctors, and obviously Tommy, Kara, and whatever, Danny and the baby, or whatever the hell the kid's name is. But yeah, just an awesome scene. And even the aftermath when he's walking through the hallway, And, he takes the doctor's head and, pushes it right through the bars is awesome, which is actually a fun fact that the doctor that Michael kills in that scene in Halloween 6 is actually the guy who's playing Michael in that scene. It's actually his dad, because in that scene, it's actually not George P. Wilbur playing Michael. It's Michael Lerner, I want to say his name is. But yeah, that was just an awesome scene. John Bruce says, I would celebrate if Michael kills Julian. Yeah, I agree with you, John. I don't know if I would celebrate, but I agree that it would really up the ante a little bit. So yeah. Hey, the Boogeyman's here. How's it going, Boogeyman? Darth Vader says, also love that scene in Halloween 2018 where Michael is walking through the houses and walking in one house to the other. Yeah, that tracking shot obviously was a big, I don't want to say marketing pitch for the movie, but it was a big scene in that movie. I know that in the Halloween watch party 10 days ago or so, they said it took, I think it was 7 takes or 8 takes or something like that. Basically, it took days to film just because you had to get it just right. I have a couple of things about that scene. There's a couple of things I like and one thing I don't like. A couple of things I like are, like you said, it just follows him from house to house, and it's just the randomness of the killing. Like, he's not thinking, he's just killing. So I do like that it's random, and I think they wanted to do that to show that, these are random kills again. Laurie isn't his sister. He's not going after her. He's going after anyone. But the one thing I didn't like is it kind of showed his process. I'm not a huge fan of seeing Michael's process, and I know we got that in a lot of the other sequels. I don't want to see him think about what he's doing. I just want him to be in. I want him to be in the background of a scene and then gone, or be there and then not there. So I do have a little problem with that. But the overall scene, I mean, God, it's one of the best things we've gotten in any of the sequels. So it's very, very hard to complain about that. A couple of the other kills that I'm not huge fans of, though. I'm not a huge fan of the thumb through the forehead in Halloween 4, although I do like that movie. And I do like the kind of the atmosphere of being in the ambulance and things like that. It just, once again, it's just a little too Jason Voorhees-ish or Rob Zombie's Halloween-ish. So yeah. Travion 1805 says, my favorite deaths are Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers killing all the doctors and nurses. Yep, we just talked about that. Awesome scene. That operating room massacre is just fantastic. And then Joseph Gordon-Levitt and H2O. Yep, I always forget that's Joseph Gordon-Levitt. But he gets the hockey skate right through the face. That's a cool scene. And then Mrs. Elvis from Halloween 2. Yeah, that Mrs. Elvis one's a good one because it's another one of those ones like I was mentioning where you just kind of see the aftermath. So somehow Michael will forget the fact that he somehow knew how to use the tools to drain her blood, but her blood is all drained. So what the hell happened there? It's kind of cool that we saw all that aftermath of that. So yeah, I definitely agree with you there, Travion. Let's see, John Bruce. If it was Wednesday, I would say my favorite is Linda in the original. If it was Wednesday. What do you mean, John? Wednesday? I must be missing something. But anyway, Linda, you can't go wrong with that kill. See anything you like, and then Michael with the ghost sheet on his face, just awesome scene. It kind of shows that he's got a little bit of a trickster to him. Something that was lacking in a lot of the sequels was Michael kind of playing games with his victims. They tried to do that a little bit in 2018. He was, I don't know if it was him playing games with his victims or if it was just an homage to the Linda kill. But after he kills the babysitter, what the hell's her name? Vicky, and her boyfriend, he puts the sheet over, I think it's the boyfriend body. Oh, I see, John. John says it depends on which day you ask me. I might give a different answer every day. Yeah, that's how I am too. I was looking at some old videos I made. I'm like, wow, that must have been a weird day because I had this ranked here and this ranked there. Now I would say this. So yeah, most of the time I'll have, a handful, 5 or whatever that are, always in my top 5. But you're right, John. It kind of changes based on each day of the week. So I totally, totally get you. Jason Richardson says, I never honestly liked John's head explosion in H2O because it was over the top. Yeah, his head explosion, I think that was in Curse of Michael Myers. But yeah, I agree that it was too over the top. I think that was put in after reshoots. But yeah, he goes in the basement, and the guy's he might be the biggest asshole in this entire series, which is saying a lot. But he's going to get it. He's just being a dick to his wife, who just seems like this nice lady. But yeah. So, and Michael, I can't remember what happens. Does he stick a knife in him and then throws him on the breaker? And then, yeah, he starts, foaming at the mouth and his head explodes. Come on. I mean, I actually love all the kills in that movie, but that one, I totally agree with you, Jason. That was way over the top. Darth Vader says, in Halloween 2018, I don't think they should have killed off Officer Hawkins. He was such a cool character. So, Darth, I agree with you there. I loved Officer Hawkins. I think he was one of the most intriguing characters in Halloween 2018. But based on a tweet from, David Gordon Green, he may actually have survived that, apparently. He might be in Halloween Kills. Somebody basically said something similar to what you just said right there. And David Gordon Green kind of said, did he die? ? So it is possible that Hawkins could still be alive. He could be sitting in the hospital, maybe when Laurie gets wheeled into the hospital, could be on life support. I don't know why you'd have I can't remember the actor's name. Damn it. He's always escapes me, but for me, he's always the guy, the coach in Remember the Titans. Great movie. But yeah, I can't remember his name offhand. Help me out if anyone knows. But yeah, so he could be in the hospital room according to what David Gordon Green tweeted. It was kind of cryptic. Maybe he might have just been messing with people too. It's hard to say. But yeah, I agree that Hawkins was a very cool character. It's cool that we met an officer that was the first on the scene in 1978. Maybe what he meant by that is we'll see the younger version of Hawkins. If we do see the younger version of Hawkins, I hope it's just with him sitting there and showing up, and we just see Michael. Him holding a gun to Michael or whatever. I hope it doesn't actually show him cuffing Michael or Michael getting on his knees or in a cop car. So I hope they don't go that far. But yeah. Travion, you're right here. Travion said, I remember someone said they loved Hawkins, and David replied back, do you? Yeah, I knew it was something like that. So yeah, I agree that Hawkins was an awesome character. We'll see if he survived. I don't really know how he would, but it's possible, movie magic. I mean, he got stabbed in the stomach a couple times by Sartain. And then, he got ran over. But from what I read, or I saw in some other video sometime, they said based on the angle of the car, Hawkins' legs only got ran over. So who knows? Courtney Estrada, how's it going? Courtney says, how do we think the mask is going to work in the new one? Good question, Courtney. I guess they got a couple options here. Well, first of all, we know that in the flashback, they have some type of replica to the OG mask. From every piece of footage that I've seen, which quite frankly isn't much, it looked pretty good. It's going to be obviously depend on how they light it and things like that. But so there's that mask. But as far as the new mask, after 2018, after him getting burned, I guess they got a couple options. I hope they do not go the route of work. Yeah, I know what you meant, Courtney. Yeah, how do we think the mask is going to look in the new one? So I hope they got they have a couple options. But I hope they don't go the route of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, where it's kind of cut off. It could be melted to his face. it could just be look exactly like 2018, but a little more weathered. Might have some burn marks. That'd be kind of cool if I had a couple burn marks on one side, or something like that would be kind of cool. But yeah, I don't know. That is a good question, Courtney. My guess would be that it'll have a couple of burn marks or maybe some smoke damage, but it's not going to be melted to his face, a la Jason Goes to Hell, and it won't be like cut half off like what's it called, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. The mask hopefully will have some cool burn marks or smoke marks. At least that's what I would want. But still, it'll still look like the mask from 2018, because obviously, as we more or less know now, it's going to take place on the same night. But obviously, it depends how long he's trapped in the house. I don't know a mask like that, especially that mask is supposed to be 40 years old. I don't know how it would work as far as the heat and the smoke and how quick it would get damaged and things like that. But I'm sure they'll have it looking cool, because that's kind of it's kind of their brand with the Halloween movie. It'll be very interesting to see what that mask looks like. What about some of your guys' favorite kills from the later sequels, like 4, 5, 6, 7, all those? Some of the ones that I mentioned earlier, if you're just joining us, were let's see, who did I mention here? I actually mentioned a couple from each movie. Will from H2O I liked. Even though I hate Halloween 5, I liked Mikey from Halloween 5. Oscar from 18. Earl getting his neck ripped out in Halloween 4 was obviously cool. And then I liked most of the kills from Halloween 6, with the exception of what's John Strode's face exploding. T-Bone NYC 10 says, hope the hair is partially burned and messy. It was too neat in 2018, in my opinion. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't really think the hair. I didn't really think about the hair, but it's very. The hair would probably be one of the first things to burn in that. So that would be kind of cool. I'm trying to think. It was pretty neat. But we'll see how it works. We don't want too messy a hair, because then you get the H2O. Where it's kind of just like a fro. But it's more realistic. He's been killing all night, and now he just was attempted to get burned alive. So I'm sure the hair should be kind of fucked up a little bit. Captain Brandon Horlever, how's it going? Let's see. Darth Vader says finger and head kill in H4. Yeah, that was a good kill. I'm not a huge fan, just because it seems like something Jason Voorhees would do, and I like Michael and Jason being separate. But yeah, definitely a brutal kill. I mean, imagine just getting anything stuck through your forehead right there. I mean, take out the fact that it was a thumb, but anything stuck through your forehead would just be horribly painful. I mean, it hurts even sometimes just to push hard on your forehead there. So to have the strength to put a thumb through the forehead would hurt like hell. It's just not as realistic for me. And I know we're talking about a movie where a guy walks around in a mask. But a mask and kills people on Halloween, and he's superhuman at this point in some of the sequels. But I like him a little more realistic. Let's see. Courtney Estrada says Kelly Meeker with the gun. Yeah, I love that kill. Just the whole scene is awesome. She comes with I think it's coffee for I think, is that Deputy Logan? Is that his name? And at that point, we don't know that Logan's dead, until she lights the match, talking about MTV or something. And then you see Logan's body there. And then, Michael stands up, holding the shotgun, and shoves it right through her stomach on the wall. So yeah, very cool kill. And I love the way the mask is lit right after that kill. It's not too bright, it's just kind of still in the shadows. So yeah, very, very cool kill. Brian Swanson, I like H6 where Michael snapped that construction worker's neck. Yes, I forgot about that kill, Brian. Good call. Especially because you have Jamie, or the actress that's pretending to be Jamie, depending on your point of view. But as far as the franchise goes, that is Jamie Lloyd. And she's saying behind you or something after she gets in that guy's truck, and Michael just comes and just snaps his neck and it turns. Little unrealistic, obviously, but that's just how Halloween 6 was. Like I said, I like most of the kills in that movie. Let's see. John Bruce, the Kathleen Kinmont kill was pretty cool. Yes, Kelly Meeker. That was, like I said, that awesome kill. Captain Brandon Horlever, I'm doing good. It's true. I dig Brady's death in H4. He saw it coming and had to slowly take the pain. It looks so brutal in hindsight. I agree with you, Brandon. I like that he kind of gets a little redemption by, putting Rachel and Jamie first. Was it stupid not to run with them? In hindsight, yes. But he's got that big shotgun. He just forgot that he already shot the door, and by the time he, loads the gun, Michael gets it out of the way, and then he actually gets a couple swings at Michael. But yeah, it's just brutal the way Michael lifts him up, and he's spitting blood, and you can just hear his neck snap. So that's awesome. Jason Richardson says, how do you think they will make Michael survive this time? Good question, Jason. I personally do not want to know. I don't want to see him escape. I don't want anything. I don't want to see how he escapes. But this is 2020, and everyone seems to want to know everything. So my guess would be, and a lot of people have speculated this too, so this isn't something that I've just come up with. But my guess would be firefighters come in. We got that picture of Michael standing outside the house with the halogen bar, I believe it's what it's called. So my guess is going to be it's a firefighter's tool for, a house like that. He's going to, kill some firefighters and get out. And it'll probably be an epic fucking scene. It'll probably be awesome because the house is going to be falling down, burned shit all around him. It'll be really cool. But I just don't want to see it because I just like the mystery of it. I would like to see a scene. Them skip that. And we just have a scene with like Lori and Allison and Karen and, Brackett can be involved too. I just like to see a scene there, and all of a sudden, you see on the news, no bodies were found. And they're like, what do you mean no bodies were found? Because that just screams the Shape to me. And then even in our minds, we're thinking, how the hell did he do that? I don't want to see it, but my guess would be he kills a couple firefighters and gets out. At least that's the most logical explanation. Let's see. Aiden Lewis. Janet from Halloween 2 at the needle. Yes, that is actually my second favorite kill in the entire franchise. I love that kill. I love the way Michael just kind of emerges from the darkness and you got the red light. Just awesome kill. And, she kind of backs up into him and, the needle right through the temple. Just brutal in my opinion. But yeah, just that whole scene is just eerie and creepy. So I definitely cannot argue with you there, Aiden. That is a great kill. Let's see what else we got here. John Bruce, Kill Bill Volume 1 ending for Halloween Kills. John, I am embarrassed to say this. I have never seen Kill Bill. I am actually not a Tarantino guy, believe it or not. But obviously, I know about it, and I've heard so many great things about it, so I'll probably see it eventually. But yeah, I have never ever seen it. I'll have to look that up now because now you got me curious. Captain Brandon Horlover says, for me, the most brutal Halloween 2 kill is the scalpel impaling on the platinum blonde nurse. It always takes my breath away. That musical stinger just sells it. First of all, I didn't mention this earlier, but you're right. That stinger, the musical stinger, is awesome. And I love that Lori kind of turns around and sees him, and all of a sudden you see Michael back there. You hear the stinger, and then, boom, he lifts her up with a scalpel. And, her shoes drop. I can't remember what her shoes are called. It's a type of women's shoe. I do not know women's shoes. Thank God, actually. But yeah, awesome fucking kill. And then you get the stinger, like you said, and then awesome chase scene after that. Let's see. Courtney Estrada, what is your first favorite kill? My first favorite kill is Bob from Halloween 1978. And it's mainly because of just the way everything's lit and then the head tilt and Michael kind of looking and saying, kind of feeling, oh, look what I just did. So yeah, that's my favorite kill in the franchise. It gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. Let's see. Oh, Brandon, a clog shoe. Thank you for helping me out there. I knew I've heard about it before because I've read so many damn things on all these kills throughout the years, and they always mention the clog shoe. But yeah, you're right, Brandon. Thank you. Travion, Nurse Jill. She wanted to help Lori, her, and Jimmy. Yep, she did. Nurse Jill is who is no Nurse Jill is she's the needle in the eye. But yeah, so she was going to Dr. Mixter's office to tell him that Lori had a reaction to the medication or something like that. John Bruce, love Halloween 2 music. Beautiful. Oh, John, you are right. Halloween 2. So obviously you can't beat the original score or the score of the original Halloween 1978. But Halloween 2's score, I actually listened to more than any other horror score, any other movie score ever. I love that they add the synth to it. Actually, on Pandora, you can get the whole album, and it's awesome. They got these, like, I can't remember exactly what they're called, but they're bonus tracks. They're bonus tracks. So yeah, and it's just awesome. I seriously, like I just said about something else, but I get goosebumps just hearing that score, because it just, every time I hear it, I picture Michael kind of stalking the hallways, and it just brings me back to being a kid when I first saw this movie. So yeah, I love that score. I love listening to it at Halloween. I actually just listened to some of it the other day just because I wanted to get in the mood. Jason Richardson says, I honestly feel like all of Halloween 3 kills were underrated. Yes, I agree. They actually have some good kills in that movie. Besides, so I already mentioned the little boy in the testing room, and I mentioned the lady, I can't remember her name, in the hotel room. So those are my 2 favorite from there. But even taking some of the other ones, you have the guy that, I don't know why I always thought this, but the homeless guy I always thought looked like Woody Harrelson. At least I watched it I watched it a couple months ago, and I was like, why did I always think this looked like Woody Harrelson? But maybe it was just me when I was a kid. But yeah, he gets his head basically pulled off by one of those robots, which I actually think was played by Dick Warlock, who played Michael in Halloween 2. So you have that kill, and then the chick's dad in the hospital. He kind of, one of the robots takes, I think it's Warlock again, takes his fingers and pushes right through his eyes. So yeah, those are definitely brutal kills. So yeah, I feel that I agree with you. Halloween 3 kills aren't mentioned all the time. Let's see. Courtney Estrada, do you collect NECA figures? I do not, but I really want to get into that. I just saw that they have a lot of cool shit coming out. Correct me if I'm wrong, if this is the wrong company or not, but I saw that they had like ones that are original, or that have like the Halloween 5 mask, the long neck Myers, the Halloween 4 mask, and they look pretty spot on from what I saw. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Or I thought those looked pretty cool. But no, I personally do not, but I really want to start. Let's see here. Captain Brandon Horror Lover says, H5 was not an overall good movie, but most of them are fairly brutal, such as the scythe throat slash and the impaling of the blonde guy. Yeah, I agree with you, Brandon. I hate Halloween 5. I am not afraid to admit that. Can't stand it. But some of the kills, I can't argue with you there. You got, I mentioned earlier, Mikey, the garden rake to the forehead. I love that kill. And then you're right. Spitz getting impaled with the pitchfork, and then the scythe. Is that Samantha? Is that her name? Yeah, the scythe kill. But yeah, and one thing that I do like about the kills in Halloween 5 is if you think about the kill weapons, think about what I just mentioned. Those are all weapons that have to do with kind of autumn and farming. So that obviously must have been a creative choice to have all those weapons used. I know they were in a barn, so they were kind of handy. But yeah, how do you have a creative choice like that is, I don't want to say genius, but how do you have a choice like that is really thoughtful and I actually like that and really, give some atmosphere to the film and fall and Halloween and autumn and all that shit. But then you have all these other creative choices that just are god awful. I don't get it. But yeah, I definitely give their kills credit. Let's see. Brandon says the NECA figures are cool. I got all of the late '90s McFarlane Toys Movie Maniacs clean line. Wow, you have to show me a picture of those sometime, Brandon, because those sound cool. I know you got a bunch of your stuff. So yeah, or a bunch of cool stuff like that. So yeah, I'm very impressed. I want to see what those look like. Brian Swanson says, let's see here. Sorry. Let's talk about how Halloween Kills will open. Yes. So that'll be interesting. I made a video a couple months back on how I think it will open. Like I said, they got a couple different options. They could start with the flashback, which I don't think will happen. They could start with Michael escaping because, like I said, as much as I don't want to see him escape, I know it's inevitable that they're going to show it because it's going to be a badass scene. I'm going to probably enjoy watching it, even though looking back years from now, I'm going to say, I wish they would have just left it ambiguous and had us not see how he escaped. But God damn it, I'm going to enjoy watching it in real time. So they could show how Michael escapes, or they could, cut right to the truck, and you got the Strode women driving away. Could cut to the driver, whoever that might be. Maybe it's Tommy. Maybe it's Brackett. Who knows? But they could cut to that, or they could cut right to, Laurie being in the hospital. My guess would be that they start with, it opens with the Strode women in the truck or Laurie being wheeled into the hospital. And there's a little exposition there. Maybe Allison and Karen are, saying, hey, we did it. We're safe. We're safe. We're safe. And maybe Laurie is kind of like, yeah. And, she's got some doubt in her voice. And then all of a sudden, it cuts to Michael and he's fucking shit up with the firefighters or whatever. So that would be probably how I would do it. But it'll be very interesting to see how they start it. John Bruce, love the opening to H5. I'm going to try doing that to a pumpkin in October. Yeah, I actually do like that too. As long as you're talking about the opening of kind of the pumpkin getting carved and the knife noises, and you're not talking about Michael floating down the river like a goddamn fish. But yeah, I know what you're talking about, John. Yeah, I actually did enjoy that as well. Just pretty creative. Once again, another creative choice that they made that was really cool. Yet, for every creative choice they make that is cool in that movie, they make another 20 that are absolute shit. So that's another reason why that movie's pretty frustrating. But I agree with you. I do like that opening. Captain Brandon Horlever says farm equipment. So yeah, it's sort of a seasonal theme. Good point. Even Rachel's infamous scissors in the shoulder blade look nasty. Yeah, I would not. The scissors in the shoulder blade definitely look nasty. I think originally, until Ellie Cornell said no way, that Michael was supposed to shove scissors right down her throat. God, that would have been brutal. I'm glad they didn't go with that, as much as that might be cool to see. I think it'd be cool to see with a random character, just not Rachel. So let's keep going. Jason says, any kill is better than Jamie's death at Michael Men in Black. Yeah. I think you're talking about the producer's cut version, right in the hospital room, right? Yeah, terrible. Just both deaths of in the producer's cut and the theatrical version, both were very disrespectful to the character, in my opinion. We spent 2 movies with this little girl has survived, both movies. And I'm not saying don't kill Jamie, because at this point it's the 3rd movie, her uncle's after her, it's Halloween again, her uncle's after her, blah, blah, blah. I get it, kill her off, but show some goddamn respect. Don't have her be raped by Michael. And don't have her, guts torn up in farm equipment. So yeah, I agree with you. Let's see here. T-Bone NYC 10 says, at what point in the movie do you believe they will show the flashback scene? Good question. My guess would be maybe, if not halfway through, maybe towards the early halfway through, or kind of like the end of the beginning. My guess would be when they introduce Lonnie Lamb, because from everything we've seen in the flashback, Michael is going to run into Lonnie, or Lonnie's going to run into Michael, however you want to put it. So my guess would be Tommy and Lindsay or Allison or whoever runs into Lonnie. Yeah, Allison could be involved because she's was dating Lonnie's son, Cameron. But anyway, my guess is they're going to tell Lonnie, or Lonnie's going to find out on the news that, Michael Myers escaped and now he has started another killing spree on Halloween night. And Lonnie's going to have is going to start remembering, he's going to say, I remember 1978. I remember 40 years ago. And, then it'll cut to the flashback scene of him running into Michael. So that's kind of when I think that they will do the flashback. That seems to make the most narrative sense to me. But we'll see how they do it. Darth Vader says, wonder how the final battle in Halloween Kills will play out. Good. Yeah, I wonder too, because we got some exposition from how was it Blum? Jason Blum said a while back, a couple months ago, that it will not end on a cliffhanger, which I thought was interesting. I always thought before that it kind of would end on a cliffhanger. Basically how I would end it, I would have the final battle be either Brackett or Karen going out in a blaze of glory, saving the others from Michael, and then Michael kills them, and then it's on kind of for Halloween Ends. That's how I would do it. If it's not going to end on a cliffhanger, I don't know how they're going to do it, because I assume that Halloween Ends has to take place also on the same night. I could be wrong on that, but I think it would be kind of stupid if it took place 2-3 years later. May as well just keep it moving here, keep it all on the same night. So yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how the final battle plays out, and who's all involved in that, and who Michael takes out. I mean, they gotta kill some mainish characters in Halloween Kills, in my opinion. So yeah, it'll be very interesting. I agree with you. Let's see here. Travion says Halloween Kills can start with Karen, Laurie, and Allison on the back of the truck, then show Laurie's house on fire with Michael, then go straight to the flashback. Yeah, it very well may do that. I personally think the flashback will happen a little bit later, not right at the beginning. But who knows? You could be right. And I agree with you that it'll probably start with Karen, Laurie, and Allison on the back of the truck, and maybe taking a breath, and then they show Michael escape. So yeah. Let's see here. Who do we got here? Sorry, 1 second. Darth Vader says, yeah, I think Tommy versus Michael would be great. Yes, I agree with you 100%, Darth Vader. That's basically what I want to see too at some point, whether it's in Halloween Kills or Halloween Ends. And it's basically because Tommy is the one that saw Michael standing across the street. Tommy was the one that was warning Laurie that the boogeyman was outside. And then, Laurie had the realization at the end of Halloween 2018 that it was the boogeyman. As a matter of fact, it was. So Tommy was kind of the audience's bridge to Laurie finding out that Michael, aka the boogeyman, was real. So I agree. It'd be very cool, in my opinion, to see Tommy versus Michael, or especially see Tommy's face when he comes face to face on Michael again. It's been 40 years. He's probably been traumatized his whole life. I mean, who knows what Tommy's life has been like. I'm sure we'll get some exposition on that. But yeah, I agree. It'll be very, very interesting. Let's see here. Scott Stevens, how you doing, Scott? Says Kyle Richards says she broke her nose in Halloween Kills. She must have had a great fight scene. Great point, Scott. I forgot about that. I did hear that. So yeah, she definitely has some action. I think, especially because she's a known, I don't want to call her a celebrity, but kind of, she's in the Real Housewives of, I believe, Beverly Hills. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, she said she broke her nose, like Scott said. So there's got to be at least some kind of action. Maybe she dies, maybe she doesn't. But it'll be very cool to see what they do with Lindsay's character, in my opinion. And I've mentioned this before, just especially because, Lindsay, if you remember in Halloween 1978, she was a huge, huge fan of horror movies. She was watching The Thing from Another World, which we know Carpenter ended up remaking 4 years. 4 years? Yeah, 4 years later. She was watching, I can't remember what other movies she was watching off the top of my head. But we know she was a big horror fan even before this horrific event happened. So it'll be cool to see what they do with her character. Let's see. Jason Richardson. Lonnie, that gives me flashbacks to the Halloween Resurgence fan film I watched a little while ago. I have not seen that. I've heard some interesting things about it. I've heard it was pretty well done. But yeah, I agree that Lonnie, it'll be the flashback will be cool to see what they do with that. Brian Swanson asks, "What part of Wisconsin are you from?" I am from Milwaukee, my friend. It's finally nice out here. You wait all winter for the weather to turn, and then you have COVID happen, and you can't go anywhere. But now it's finally starting to get nice out. So yeah, it is exciting. Let's see what else we got here. Travion says Anthony Michael Hall has been posting on Instagram Tommy versus Michael. Ooh, interesting. I have not seen any of that yet. I'll have to do some Google searches for that because I'm very curious on what he's been posting. And that's pretty cool that Anthony Michael Hall is posting shit about Halloween Kills. It's pretty cool he's not Jamie Lee Curtis, but he's a relatively big name actor, especially in the 80s. He was huge. So it's cool. And as much as I wanted a no name for to play Tommy, because I did, I feel like when I see Anthony Michael Hall, I might be a little distracted because the whole time I'm going to be thinking, hey, that's Anthony Michael Hall. If they were going to choose someone that's known, I think Anthony Michael Hall was the right choice because A, very good actor. And B, he looks like how Tommy would probably look like as a grown-up. Much more than Paul Rudd. And as much as I love Paul Rudd, I never believed that was Tommy Doyle because he didn't look anything like him. At least Anthony Michael Hall looks like Tommy would look like grown up. Ryan Bentley, how you doing, Ryan? I would like to see a classic chase scene in Halloween Kills with the John Carpenter score. It'll be great. Hell fucking yes, man. Could not agree more. That's one thing I think Halloween 2018 was severely lacking, was a great chase scene. And especially speaking of the Carpenter score, we had Carpenter create, in my opinion, the best score since Halloween 2. Yet, and what I'm talking about is The Shape Hunts Allison. Just awesome shit. Yet, it's over before it begins. It lasts a few seconds and then it's gone. And then Allison runs into, she ran into a house and then Hawkins and Sartain or whatever. So yeah, I agree with you, Ryan. I really miss a nice chase scene. It was severely lacking last movie. And the Carpenter score just kind of is the cherry on top. So I totally agree with you. John Bruce, that little punk Tommy Doyle, he thinks he can overcome his childhood fears. I see him having problems in this movie. That will be interesting, John, to see if he's, just kind of like a scared little boy all grown up now or what. Some of the images we've seen have, Anthony Michael Hall holding isn't there an image with him holding like a baseball bat at night? So it's almost like Tommy and Lindsay. It's going to be some kind of like vigilantes, hunting Michael, they're going to find out what happened and shit like that. So yeah, it'll be very interesting to see what Tommy's like, if he's just a scared little boy or maybe he's a badass. Who knows? He kind of looked like a badass because doesn't he have like a shaved head now, Anthony Michael Hall, for this movie? So maybe he's a badass, but maybe he's not. So yeah, it'll be very, very interesting. I agree. He could have some problems in this movie as well. Travion 1805 says Allison and Cameron could probably have a good chase scene in Halloween Kills. Yeah, that I think Cameron probably is a goner in this movie. Not only was he a huge douchebag to Allison, but he survived last movie. And he threw her phone in some pudding or some shit. Why? When he was the one that was the jerk. But anyway, there could be a very good chase scene with them, and maybe he redeems it. Maybe he's got a Brady moment in him where he's kind of a douchebag cheater, and then he kind of sacrifices himself to let Allison get away. So maybe. T-Bone NYC 10 says, I hope they keep some of the scores from 2018 in Kills. Keep the feel. Yeah, that's a good point. It'll be interesting to see what they do. It's the same night, so you want to keep the feel, like you said. Not that 78 and 81 had similar scores. They were polar opposites, even though I love them both. But yeah, the good thing is John and Cody Carpenter are both doing the score. So that's pretty promising. So I'm sure they're smart enough to, kind of keep the same tone and feel of it, even though this is probably going to be a much more brutal movie. But yeah, I agree. The 2018 score was very good. Jason Richardson says, I hope there won't be any Sartain or Loomis type figure in this movie. Yeah, I think they have enough. Well, I guess it'll be interesting too, because you got Marion Chambers, who will probably give us a little bit of an insight into Michael through some Loomis exposition, and you got Brackett, who might be able to kind of do the same thing. So yeah, you don't really need anyone else with them two around, and obviously Laurie as well. You don't really need anyone else. Sartain had a lot of potential to be a great character, and they ruined it just because they needed a reason, in my opinion, to get Michael to Laurie's house. They kind of wrote themselves in the corner. So let's have Sartain turn and be a psycho. So pretty dumb, in my opinion. So yeah, I agree with you. Darth Vader says, I can just imagine Lonnie seeing Tommy for the second time. Yeah, that'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see if Tommy still lives in Haddonfield or what's going on. It's obviously Lonnie does, based on what Ray was saying, and obviously Cameron's and his son. But Lonnie was obviously a little bit of a bully to Tommy in 1978. But they were kids. Maybe they made up and they're friends now. Who knows? Or maybe Lonnie's kind of like Biff Tannen and he's still kind of bullying Tommy. Who knows? So yeah, it will be interesting. My only fear with all these returning characters, one of my biggest fears is there's just so much going on, and they say we want stalking scenes, we want a lot of kills. We got all these returning characters that we're going to need to find out all of the shit they've been up to in all the years. So is the movie going to be too busy? That's one of my big concerns about the movie, is there's just going to be so much going on that we're going to maybe miss out on some stalking scenes or stuff like that. So who knows? But yeah, it'll be interesting. We're going to go for about 10 more minutes, guys. John Bruce, maybe Michael finds Lonnie in the Myers house because, he can't keep his ass away from there. Yes, I agree. And speaking of the Myers house, as John mentioned, that was confirmed that it will be in Halloween Kills. Now, we don't know if that's going to be in the flashback scene or if that's going to be in the current timeline or present day. So we don't know when that occurs. Maybe Michael gets caught at the Myers house. Maybe he runs into Lonnie in the flashback and goes home. Who knows? But yeah, Lonnie can't keep his ass away from there. You're right, John. Excuse me. Brian Swanson says, I don't see one chill moment in this movie. Sounds like action from beginning to end. Yeah, I completely 100% agree with you, Brian. Especially if it's taking place on the same night and there's so much going on with all these characters. It could be a longer movie. Darth Vader says it might pass the 2-hour mark, he says. But yeah, it sounds like it's going to be very, very intense. It's going to kind of be balls to the wall. And, hey, sign me up for that. As much as I like the slow pacing of like the original, this is a sequel to Halloween 2018, and we need to have our expectations realistic. It's the same night with everything, every little tidbit we know about this movie. I agree with you, Brian. This is going to be just a bullshit, crazy, batshit crazy movie. So I agree with you there. ATGNAT podcast says, dude has shaved. Yes, I shaved, guys. I finally broke down. I couldn't take it anymore. So yes, I am clean shaven for the first time since February. Feels good, but now I miss it. You know how that goes. John Bruce says, all these returning characters, this ain't the Avengers versus Michael. These people are going to get their asses kicked. I agree with you. I totally agree with you. That was one of my big concerns with all the returning characters they announced. Tommy, Lindsay, Brackett, Marion, Lonnie, not to mention everyone from 2018. it's just going to be so busy. But yeah, I feel like they got to kill a few of these characters off, John. I agree with you. GNAT podcast probably already addressed. Myers' house is where they catch Michael in the flashback. Yeah, that's what I was kind of debating, guys. Because obviously David Gordon Green said that the Myers house will be in the movie, but he didn't go into detail on when. So will Michael, run into Lonnie in the flashback and then go home? Will something happen in the current time period? Who knows? If I had a guess, my guess is it will be in the flashback. And then it will probably also be in Halloween Ends, just to kind of tie shit together. But that's how I would do it personally. But who knows? It could be in present day too. Maybe it's kind of like Halloween 2, 1981, where the whole town kind of storms on Lambkin Lane there and is throwing rocks at the windows, and Loomis, it's awake. One of their number has been butchered, or whatever the hell that line is. Totally am curious myself. Let's see here. Jason Richardson, I personally wouldn't mind a 2.5 hour long Halloween movie. Yeah, the fanboy in me would love to sit there for 2.5 hours and watch this movie. But looking back years from now, I don't want to look and just kind of say, oh man, that it's 2 movies in one. We're already having, Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. I personally am not a huge fan of like 3-hour movies. I like the 90 to 100, 110 minute runtime of movies. I just do. Not that a 2.5 hour movie can't be great if done right. But for a horror movie and a slasher movie, I think you don't want to go over 2 hours at all. But with everything going on in this movie, who knows? It'll probably be around 2 hours, maybe hour 45 minutes. We'll see. Brian Swanson, am I the only one who thinks the scene in H4 where Loomis gets out of the gas station and yells Michael is funny as hell? Well, first of all, the scene with Loomis at the gas station, I think it's awesome as hell. I love every Loomis daytime scene in Halloween 4. But yeah, the kind of the way he yells Michael and then drives through there and has to jump over the gas cans. I agree that it's pretty comical. But yeah, I actually love that whole scene. Do they play Mr. Sandman in the flashback as a nod to part 2? I didn't think of that. I actually would not be surprised if they do, especially with all the fan service that they've been doing. It could just be another one of those moments where you're sitting in the audience like, oh, okay, they're playing that, so I could totally see that, especially since this is kind of the second part of the new trilogy, the David Gordon Green and Danny McBride trilogy, if you will. It's very possible. They might even play it in real time as, Laurie's leaving Haddonfield Memorial or going into Haddonfield Memorial or whatever. It wouldn't be a bad nod. It'd be a little more subtle than some of the other shit that they pulled in Halloween 2018, which I have a love-hate relationship with some of the fan service they did there. Because some of it just seemed pigeonholed in, and some of it, I get why they did it, but some of it just didn't seem necessary to me. But I know what they were doing. T-Bone NYC 10, can Myers do his thing with 3 fingers or just his right hand now? Well, that's a good question. I don't think it'll hinder him too much, but obviously it has to hinder him a little bit. Otherwise, it's not realistic. Otherwise, why have that? Why have him running around with 3 fingers? So it could play, who knows? It could play a pivotal role. Maybe he's grabbing, Laurie or Allison, and he has to grab with his 3-fingered hand, and because he's only got 3 fingers, she can escape. But he's also kind of, I know he's human in this, but last movie, the guy stomped the fucking dude's head with his, heel. So he's still a little bit superhuman, if you will. We'll see. We'll see if it does play a part. Let's see here. A couple more minutes, guys. Here's a good question from my boys at ATGNAT podcast. Is it possible that all characters they are bringing back die, leaving 3 Strode women alive for Halloween Ends? It's possible. I agree that it's possible, but very unlikely. I think the people of the, let's just go the core 5 that they're bringing back. You got Tommy, Lindsay, Lonnie, Brackett, and Marion. Lonnie's going to die for sure, I think. Brackett, 50-50. Marion, 50-50. Tommy and Lindsay, one of them may die. I think Lindsay may die. If she doesn't die in kills, I think she'll definitely die in ends. Killing all of them, I don't think it'd be a horrible creative decision just because it, kind of show, holy shit, they're not messing around here. But I don't think they'll kill him. I highly doubt they kill Tommy at the very least. But yeah, it would be a very interesting creative decision. And I think, I don't know if all 3 Strode women should survive. I think Karen's got to go. It's not even because I don't like the character, which I don't, even though she kind of redeemed herself at the end. It's just because you got to have some stakes. But yeah, maybe killing all 5 of those returning characters are the stakes. So yeah, good question. Brian D. Wolf, how you doing, man? This new trilogy is a 2 out of 3 fall match. Michael will definitely win this round. Yeah, I agree that Michael needs to win this round, if you will. That's actually one of the reasons why I'm so excited for this movie more than I've been excited for a lot of the other sequels that have come out recently, or over the years, I should say. Just because you got to think about this trilogy as kind of the second act of a 3-act play, and that's always not a good act for the good guys. Think equate it to The Empire Strikes Back. The Empire, Vader, kicks Luke's ass. The Resistance, Rebellion, whatever the hell you want to call them. They get their asses whooped. Michael should kick their ass in this movie. And I think that's kind of one of the things that can make this one of the most exciting Halloween movies, because it'll be a little bit different. Sartain has soft head disease like John Olerud. Maybe he did. If anyone doesn't know who John Olerud is, he was a baseball player in the 90s that wore a helmet on the field for the Mariners, and then the Blue Jays and Mets. Maybe he did play for the Mariners, but yes, I know baseball, guys. So yes, a couple more minutes, guys. Travion, Judy Greer is not the type of actress to do sequels to a franchise. Yeah, I don't know much about. I mean, I know who she is. I obviously have seen Judy Greer in tons of shit because she's been in everything over the years. But yeah, I don't know much about if she's been in sequels or not. So obviously she's in a sequel coming out hopefully in 5 months here. Knock on wood. But yeah, so I don't know much about that. Maybe you're right. Okay, a couple more questions, guys, then we're going to be done. T-Bone NYC 10 says, how much more damage do you think Myers will take in kills? Good question. I know he's not going to lose. Well, I don't know, but I assume he's not going to lose any more fingers because he's down to 8 now. I assume he's not going to get burned again because that's not only was done last movie, it's been done to death. But I think he'll take some damage. He'll probably take some bullets. Maybe Brackett will shoot him. If Hawkins is alive in his hospital bed with on a respirator, maybe he's got a gun on him or something. Who the hell knows? They're probably going to pull some shit out of their asses that we're not going to see come in. But I bet you he takes a decent amount of damage, but not enough where we think he's dead at the end of the movie, because that happens all the time. All right, guys, that is going to be it for me tonight. I want to thank everyone for coming. You guys are awesome. I love talking Halloween. I love talking horror movies. I can't do it without you guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight and every night that we do this. I really, really appreciate it, guys. You guys are the best. So yeah, appreciate you guys coming. I will talk to you later.